Messi had around $400 million a year on the table from Saudi Arabia, and even then, he said no. Instead, he chose Miami. And he flipped the switch on a club that used to be aesthetic potential, turning it into one of the loudest phenomena in world soccer. This was more than a transfer. It was a takeover. From half-empty stadiums to packed-out crowds, from "who even are these guys?" to showing up on every feed. And it became obvious Messi didn't sign for just a team. He signed for a whole new culture. The Messi mania effect already hit, and it's real. Stick around because we're going to break down how he turned soccer on its head, starting with the basics. What was Inter Miami before Messi showed up? You could say Inter Miami was that friend who flexes hard on Instagram, but in real life still can't quite afford it. The vibe was there for sure. The aesthetic looked perfect. But on the inside, things were far from what they seemed. Founded in 2018, Inter Miami entered MLS in 2020 as the new cool kids on the block. Their debut season in 2020, they finished 10th in the East. Playoffs didn't even last an episode. So, what did Beckham do? He called up his buddy Phil Neville. Yeah, that Phil Neville, to take over in 2021. And guess what? It got worse. 11th place. So they tried playing the big names game. First came Gonzalo Higuain, then Blaise Matuidi and Kieran Gibbs followed. But the only thing they got out of it was burnt toast and a cheating scandal that ended up being more famous than their soccer. And off the field, the club wasn't a big deal either. They had sponsors, but nothing massive, nothing people were seriously talking about. Online, the numbers were decent, but not impressive. And in Miami, they were fighting for attention. The Heat were huge. Other sports names were doing their thing, and Inter Miami felt like the little kid at the party. Match days were fine, but the vibe? It wasn't special. It didn't feel like something you had to see. They had big dreams. Beck's the whole cool image package, but nothing really clicked. And then, out of nowhere, something happened that no one saw coming. One of those moves that flips everything upside down and makes the whole world look. Leo Messi won't go to Barcelona or Saudi Arabia. He's decided to join Inter Miami. Leo Messi will play in MLS. Let's be real. Nobody expected this move. Lionel Messi leaving Europe for MLS? That sounded like some crazy fantasy any fan would dream up. The guy had the world at his feet. Offers were raining down, and not just any offers, insane offers. You've probably already heard about the Saudi deal, right? Well, if you haven't, at the time, people were talking about an offer close to $400 million a year for Messi with Al Hilal. If he signed it, he would have been the highest paid athlete on the planet. And what do you think? He said no. Because this wasn't just about money. Messi was chasing something bigger, a different kind of legacy. He didn't just want to pad his bank account. He wanted to build something that could change the soccer map on another continent. And that's why Miami was the destination he chose. And this is where it gets wild. This wasn't a normal soccer contract. This was chess, not checkers. Yeah, Messi was going to earn a salary, but that was the least exciting part of the deal, because the project was bigger than the field. Beckham already knew how to build a cultural revolution in the United States. Back in 2007, when he went to the LA Galaxy, he locked in a historic clause that paved the way for him to have his own club in MLS. And when he sat down with Messi, it wasn't just a pitch. It was a promise backed by experience. Basically, I already did it. You can do it too, but bigger. And Messi bought it. And then came the craziest part. The moment Messi signed, everything went through the roof. Because this wasn't just Messi joins a team. It was Messi joins a project to turn it into an empire. And you already know the cinematic part. Inter Miami announces Lionel Messi, and the world stops. Messi made his debut on July 21, 2023 against Cruz Azul in the Leagues Cup. That day was a full-blown event. Celebrities in the stands, cameras everywhere, and the perfect script, the last-minute game-winning free kick. And suddenly, Miami started buzzing like a festival. After that first match, celebrity sightings became part of the show. It was no longer just, let's go watch soccer. It was, let's go watch Messi, and see who shows up too. And at that point, Inter Miami stopped feeling like a small club with a pretty aesthetic. It started feeling like the place where soccer and pop culture shook hands. But the real impact wasn't only the stadium, it was the city. Murals started popping up in Wynwood, in Miami Beach too. Seeing Messi in the pink kit became an instant. Selfie magnet. Bars, clubs, restaurants. Everyone wanted to ride the wave. Not because Messi is trending, but because soccer was finally becoming a big night-out plan in Miami. And of course, tourism spiked. Fans traveling to see him, families who never even thought about MLS suddenly saying, "Let's go to Miami." All of a sudden, the pink jersey wasn't just a shirt, it was a symbol. Now, put this into numbers, because that matters too. Merch sales exploded after he arrived. Tickets turned into gold. Inter Miami blew up online. It went from under 1 million to tens of millions in no time, and today it's sitting near 18 million on Instagram, making it the most followed MLS club there. And the craziest part? When Miami plays away, the opponent's stadium turns into an event, because people aren't just going to watch a match, they're going to see Messi. And yeah, there were games that became historic because of that. For example, in April 2025, against the Chicago Fire, 62,358 people packed Soldier Field. And shortly after, against the Columbus Crew, there were 60,614 fans at Huntington Bank Field. Every city wanted its Messi night. But here's the point that makes it clear this wasn't just hype. Messi didn't only bring cameras, he brought trophies. Inter Miami lifted the 2023 Leagues Cup, the first big night of the Messi era, then won the 2024 Supporters' Shield with a points record, and then topped it off with what many people said was impossible for that club, the 2025 MLS Cup, meaning it's not just a media phenomenon anymore. It's a club with major trophies in the cabinet and real history. And just in case you were wondering whether this was long-term, in October 2025, Messi renewed with Inter Miami through the end of the 2028 season. He didn't come for a quick tour. He came to leave a mark. And while all of that was happening, MLS was adjusting its own game too. Even the Apple situation shifted. For 2026, the season pass model as a separate product started moving toward a more direct integration inside Apple TV. The league understood something. If you're going to have a phenomenon, you have to make it easier to watch, easier to consume, easier to turn into a habit. And that's the raw truth. Before, Inter Miami was a club with aesthetic and promise. With Messi, it became a movement. Because Messi isn't just a player anymore. He's an event. He's an economy. He's pop culture. He's packed stadiums. He's kids wanting to play soccer because the GOAT is here, not in Europe. He's people who never watched MLS now, debating matches like it's the Champions League. The big question now is, what happens when Messi eventually steps aside? Can the league and Miami keep the momentum? But for now, one thing is certain. Miami hasn't been the same since Messi arrived. And honestly, this still feels like the beginning. Messi turned Inter Miami into one of the hottest clubs in the world right now, but he's not the only one flipping soccer's identity. Hit subscribe and get ready for the next story. You don't want to miss the next wave of soccer culture.